All right, so we're live. We got some UFC 232 post-fight thoughts and review. John Jones versus Alexander Gustafson 2. Ah, man. A little disappointed with the outcome. I really wanted Gus to take it, but hey, it is what it is. Kind of disappointed it didn't go the distance. I wanted it to be another good fight, but, it is what it is. So moving on into the fight, into the fight card. Overall, I thought the fight card was pretty stacked for the most part, and I'd say it would deliver pretty well, especially the co-main event, which we'll get into that. But let's go ahead and start with the main event, or the opening card. We had Chad Mendes versus Alexander Volkanovski, and Volkanovski was ranked 10th, and Mendes was ranked 5th, I believe, or he might have been 4th. And I was excited for this fight. Volkanovski, 18-1, Mendes 18-4. Both really good guys, known for the sport. Volkanovski's kind of on the rise, with Mendes being a guy who's been there for a while. He got suspended with USADA for 2 years, and so he's back, and he got a really big knockout win earlier in the year over Miles Jury to prove that he's still one of the top welterweights, or the top featherweights. And in here, it was a big fight for him too, taking in the number 2 or number 10 guy. And Alexander, man, he delivered, man. It was a good fight. It was a great opening fight. I thought it delivered perfectly. Mendes hit him with a couple big shots early on. He stunned him. Volkanovski did a really good job in bouncing back later, especially later in the rounds. And I feel like Mendes was doing a little bit too much with his big shots, trying to land for that big shot, be patient, mix it up a little bit. He did get some takedowns in, but Volkanovski said exactly the way the fight played out. He said he would take me down, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep me down, and he really did it. Mendes took him down once earlier in the fight, and then he took him down again later on in the fight after he was stunned. So he really wasn't able to utilize him on the ground. Volkanovski did a really good job, and he was hitting him with big shots, overall back and forth, but got him with more clean shots later in the second round, ended up finishing him, knocking him out. So big win for Volkanovski. I would like to see him fight another heavy hitter like maybe Jeremy Stevens, or maybe more technical guy like Frankie Edgar or something. That'd be an interesting fight. Featherweight division's really nice right now, but it's kind of hard to see anybody dethroning Max Holloway, especially after what he did to Brian Ortega. So big win for Volkanovski. Who would you like to see him fight next? I would like to see maybe Stevens or Edgar, and then Mendes, get another big fight with someone, get that confidence booster back. So great opening fight. Volkanovski gets the TKO win in round 2. All right. So moving on into the next fight, we had Corey Anderson and Latifi. So both of these guys are big heavy hitters in the light heavyweight division. And this fight was kind of the sleeper. A sleeper as in not like people slept on it, but as in it wasn't a really good fight in my opinion. It was kind of like just a snoozer, like nothing really big, not really interesting. Kind of a boring fight in my opinion. These guys really weren't doing anything. It just seemed like they're a bunch of tired gorillas hugging each other, man. That's all it was. Corey Anderson was able to utilize more, I guess, of his kicks and his reach ability, and ended up landing more strikes than Latier. But overall, he, honestly, you could have really just thrown this up and give it to anybody. I feel like both of these guys, just really the light heavyweight division is really weak. Besides Anthony Smith and Alexander Gustafson and John Jones, who else is there? Glover Teixeira got knocked out by this guy. And Corey Anderson's kind of on and off, but he has 2 big wins now. And he got a win over Latifi. So who would you like to see him fight next? He called out Anthony Smith, so we'll see what happens there. It's probably going to be Jones and DC3, especially after what happened tonight. So moving on into the co-main event, we had Carlos Condit versus Michael Chiesa, or as I like to call Jesus, because he used to have the long hair. And man, Chiesa looked big tonight, did he not? He cut. It's like me, like Joe Rogan was saying, it's kind of hard to believe how this man cut down to 155. He is massive, man. Even at 170, he was big. So I can't imagine how terrible that weight cut was. He looked good tonight. Carlos Condit, man, it's time to hang it up. As much as I love him, much as I miss watching him when he was the interim welterweight champ, and he was the WC days when he was really good. He's just, man, the sport has evolved too much. He's getting up there in age, and yeah, everyone's figuring out. They just take him down, and he really has nothing to answer for them. Another submission loss, which was a tough loss for Condit, tough pill to swallow. I think at this point there's really nothing for him to fight. He did a couple fights ago. He did threaten to hang him up, but he came back, and You know, I'm pretty sure he's lost like 3 or 4 fights in a row, and he just hasn't been the same. So I don't know what's next for Carlos Condit. Michael Chiesa called out Neil Magny, so I'd like to see that fight. But Michael Chiesa looks pretty good at welterweight, so not bad. So yeah, that one kind of sucks. I was really pulling for Condit. Next fight, we had the co-main event. This is the one that kind of woke everybody up. We had Amanda Nunes versus Chris Cyborg. Now, this is the fight that I was really looking forward to because Chris Cyborg, in my opinion, is not a woman. She's a man. Every time she fights a girl, it's domestic violence, or women abuse, you could call it, because this girl is not a man. Or this, yeah, I'm having mixed up my words. This man is not a girl. That's all I'm going to say. And I really thought Nunes was a good matchup for her. I really thought she could either knock her out really early, or she could tire her out and maybe wrestle her to the ground. And all I'm going to say is Cyborg slept on this woman really well. She slept on her so hard, man. She did not respect Nunes at all. Dominic Cruz said it very well. She was going in there with the mindset of, I can beat anybody, I can knock out anybody, I'm going to dominate her just like I dominate everyone. No, you can't, because this girl doesn't. You've never faced someone who hits as hard as this girl. And Amanda Nunes became the champ, whatever they like to call it, and she knocked out Chris Cyborg in 51 seconds, something like that. So, crazy fight, can't respect it. I was hoping she would knock her out. I was really happy, I got hyped. However, I do wish that Cyborg would have respected her more, so it could have been at least like a better fight. But hey, I ain't complaining. Cyborg lost, I'm happy. Nunes, great win, proving that you're probably the greatest woman fighter of all time. So, that got me hyped. So, after I saw that fight, I'm like, okay, well, now it's time for Gustaffson to get that win. Let's get that win over Jon Jones. And Jon Jones just continues to prove why he's the greatest of all time. He finished Gustaffson in the 3rd round. Thought it was kind of a weak stoppage, but hey, he was winning the fight anyways. He was mixing in kicks to the leg of Gustaffson. Gustaffson was limping. What happened in the first fight that was Gustaffson was most successful was Jon Jones was standing in the pocket with him, and Gustaffson was really piecing him up in the boxing, and I thought that's how Gustaffson would win, is his ability to box with Jon Jones and not let him take him to the ground. But Jones ended up good footwork tonight, looked good, and he's just proven why he's the best. And it sucks. I really wanted Gustaffson to get it today just because I think he's deserved it. And with all this stuff with Jon Jones, I just wanted to see Gustaffson take it. And I liked Gustaffson a lot. Got a lot of respect for him, especially after the first fight and the DC title fight. So, Gustaffson, he's a warrior, man. I just kind of feel sorry for him. But great win by Jon Jones. So now they're looking like they're setting up DC versus Jones 3. Now the question is, where's it going to be at? Is it going to be heavyweight? Is it going to be at light heavyweight? DC's already talking smack on Twitter literally right after the fight, and that's the problem with DC. That is the problem with DC. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not on any side here. I'm not going to say that DC's in the wrong, Jon Jones in the wrong. I really don't care, because at this point, Jones has already beaten twice. He already proved he won the rivalry. But here's the problem with DC. Daniel Cormier is so more focused on Jon Jones that's the reason why he will forever be Jon Jones's bitch, and Jon Jones will always be ahead of him. No matter what happens in the next fight, he will always be ahead of him, because Jon Jones just owns this man, because he cannot keep his mouth shut. If DC really was the better man and he didn't care about Jon Jones, he had 2 belts. I know he relinquished one, but he had 2 belts. And he's still talking to Jon Jones. He shouldn't care about Jon Jones. He won 2 belts. Jon Jones messed up. He screwed up. He failed drug tests. He got in trouble. He got busted numerous times. It doesn't matter. I know he lost to him, and I know that's the worst loss he could have did, losing to the man twice. And, that broke him. But if DC really didn't care that much, he would forget about Jon Jones. He won 2 belts. Forget about that man. That's what I would say. I have 2 belts. I won 2 belts. I beat Stipe Miocic. Why should I care about Jon Jones? But he does. That's all he does. He cares about Jon Jones because he knows he will never beat him. And that's the bottom line is. Go ahead, Dana White. Get your money fight. Make the fight. Make DC versus Jones 3. The same outcome's going to happen. And then what? It doesn't make any sense. I just don't see DC ever beating Jon Jones. His best chance would be at heavyweight, but like he said, he wants to go down to light heavyweight to get his belt back. But, oh, man, it's just so annoying. DC cares so much about John Jones that's the reason why he'll never beat him. He cares about him too much. He knows he cares about him. He talks about him too much, and he knows he'll never beat him. If he was the better man, he didn't care about him. He would be like, you know what? I got 2 belts. Who cares about John Jones? Who is that man? But you know what? Hey, if you're building up a fight, why not? You know, you're making money. That's what Dana White likes. Dana White likes the money fight. He'll do everything for it. But overall, great card. Wish the outcome was different. OU also lost today, as y'all can see. Just been a bad day for me. But, you know, talking about the OU game real quick, I had Clemson beating Notre Dame, and that just proves that Notre Dame didn't belong in there in the first place. No conference championship. Beat an overrated Michigan who got blown out today by Florida. It's like 40-15. And they only scored 3 points on Clemson. Looked terrible. They're like 0-6 in New Year's 6 bowls or whatever in like big bowl games. So Notre Dame just didn't belong in there. I thought they were going to put up more of a fight, but I still had Clemson winning. But that just shows you that Georgia should have been in there. And first quarter of Oklahoma and Bama was just too bad. We went down 28-0. You know, Bama, we know how good they are. You can't go down 28-0 to a team that good and expect to come back and win. We were able to make the adjustments and score, make it a shootout, which I was expecting the game to be all game. If it wasn't for that first quarter, we could have possibly won it, but that first quarter was so bad. Alabama just was up on us too much. We ended up losing by 11, so, you know, hats off to Kyler Murray. Really wish he would go to the NFL, but, you know, he's getting guaranteed money for the MLB, so congrats to him. I'm going to miss him a lot. So, yeah, good game, Bama. Y'all got us today. 28-0. Got to give us some props for coming back, but, hey, it is what it is. And then Jones ended up getting the dub. I'm happy for him. Good, congrats, Jones, but I really wanted Gustaffson to get it. But, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me. I'll be back here next time for Fight Night. We'll have Dillashaw Cejudo. I'm really excited for that. Free fight. UFC Fight Night. That's gonna be fun, man. And then we have a couple. We also have Cain Velasquez and Francis Ngannou. I think that's in February or March, debuting for ESPN, or that might be late January too. I don't even know. That's coming up. ESPN's coming to UFC. They did their last Fox Sport event today, so hopefully the curse with Cain Velasquez does not live on, because last time they put Cain Velasquez in an open Fox Sports match, he lost to Junior Dos Santos in the first round, the very first Fox Sports that they did for UFC 7 years ago. So hopefully that's not the case with Francis. I would like Cain to get that win, but hey, we'll see. We got some good fights coming up in 2019. Great year. Looking forward to it. Hopefully Cowboys get it done tomorrow. It doesn't matter if they do. They're still the 6th seed or the 4th seed, so we'll see what happens. Excited to see. We'll see you guys next week for the playoff, the wild card picks. See who gets these this last seed. Me or Gage. Is it going to be a Gage or me, you know, for 3rd or 4th seed. If y'all been keeping up with the picks, be sure to watch the picks. It's been really fun this year. NFL playoffs coming up. Sorry we couldn't do the college football predictions. I kind of already told you. I had Bama winning, but I thought it was going to be a closer game. I thought it was going to be within 10, and we ended up losing by 11. But it could have been worse. We were down by 28, like I said, but couldn't do the playoff predictions, like we said, because I ended up getting my wisdom teeth out, so I was in pain. But I pretty much had Bama beating us. I thought it would be closer. I had them beating us, and then I had I had Clemson beating Notre Dame. So Clemson and Bama, 2 was happening. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys for playoff picks next week. Peace out.